Welcome to this explainer. I am so glad you're joining us today. Look, if you're a professional, an executive, or running your own business, you already know your reputation is everything. It's your ultimate asset. But today, we're going to unpack the data-driven strategies for protecting the modern version of that asset, your digital footprint. We're going to dive into exactly how you can take total control of your narrative online.
So let's just pause for a second. Picture this. Imagine a hiring manager, maybe a high net worth investor, or a huge potential client. They're sitting at their desk right before a massive pivotal meeting with you, and they type your name or your company's name into Google. What happens next? What exactly are they going to see on that very first page?
Because here's the harsh reality of our digital-first world. Whatever pops up in those results, that shapes their entire opinion of you in literal seconds. Boom, just like that. This split-second search result is no longer just casual background research. It is your absolute first impression. Before you even shake hands, before you even open your mouth to pitch a single idea, a narrative about who you are has already been locked into their mind. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover 1. Your digital first impression. 2. The cost of doing nothing. 3. What professional ORM actually is. 4. Strategies for reputation growth. And finally, 5. Proactive versus reactive management. All right, let's jump right into part 1, your digital first impression. Think about it. Basically, every high-stakes decision in business today starts with a simple online search. Employers are aggressively digging into candidates before ever making an offer, right? Customers are cross-checking businesses, reading every single detail before they even think about pulling out their credit cards. Investors are evaluating entrepreneurs to see if they're a safe bet. Journalists are verifying information before quoting you as an expert. And business partners, they're assessing your credibility before signing any contracts whatsoever. Your digital identity is literally at the center of all these transactions. Which brings us to part 2, the cost of doing nothing. And honestly, the stakes here are astronomically high. When you actively manage your digital presence, you're building client trust, driving actual business growth, and accelerating your career. It's an engine for success. But if you just neglect it, the risks are brutal. We're talking negative reviews, outdated or completely misleading content, and bad press that translate directly into lost opportunities and shattered credibility. So, how do we fix it? That's section 3. What is professional ORM? Let's nail down a clear definition. Professional Online Reputation Management, or ORM, is the strategic process of monitoring, managing, and improving how you or your business look across search engines, review sites, news platforms, and social media. The absolute key word here is strategic. We're talking about long-term, authoritative reputation building to make sure your online presence actually reflects your true expertise. This isn't about some superficial overnight quick fix. It's about building foundational credibility. It breaks down into a really systematic 3-step process. First up, it starts with a comprehensive reputation audit. Then it moves into continuous search result monitoring to catch mentions before they blow up into real issues. And third, it deploys improvement strategies to basically build a fortress of positive content around your name. Let's actually zoom in on that first step for a second, because it's absolutely foundational. Think of the reputation audit as a full-blown, data-driven diagnostic check for your entire digital footprint. It's a deep dive into search results, news articles, reviews, public mentions, even images and videos. You know, you can't fix what you don't understand, right? So this audit pinpoints your exact strengths, weaknesses, and any hidden vulnerabilities online. Now, you might be sitting there wondering, okay, but is this really for me? Well, look at the spectrum of who relies on this. Whether you're a CEO steering a massive corporation, a small business owner, a public figure, or an independent professional like a lawyer, a doctor, or a financial advisor, your digital identity needs active protection, period. Anyone whose success relies on public trust absolutely has to be managing their online reputation. Moving right along to section 4, strategies for reputation growth. So, how do we actually go on the offensive? When harmful or outdated content is out there, professional ORM fights back by essentially flooding the zone with high-quality, trusted information. We're talking about crafting meticulous professional bios, launching highly optimized websites, publishing real thought leadership articles, and landing media interviews and speaking engagements. These are your tools. You use them to intentionally dominate those search results with positive, hyper-accurate information.
And here's a part I find really fascinating: review management. Because customer reviews massively sway public perception, right? Now, professional review management doesn't mean faking 5-star ratings. No way. It means encouraging genuine, authentic feedback and setting up a rock-solid system for timely, highly professional responses. It takes a potential public vulnerability and flips it into this powerful, visible engine for building long-term customer confidence.
We also have to talk about privacy protection, which is such a crucial yet wildly overlooked pillar of all this. Because protecting your professional rep also inherently means keeping your personal life secure. Effective ORM actively works to scrub and reduce the unnecessary public exposure of your private data. It shields you from unwanted exposure and keeps the spotlight exactly where it should be on your professional achievements.
And that brings us to our final section, number 5, proactive versus reactive management. I want to be super clear about this one realization. So many people only scramble to get reputation management after a crisis hits, after the bad review goes viral or the misleading article drops. But the most effective strategy? It's prevention, hands down. You simply cannot wait for a crisis to strike before you take action, because by then, the damage to your trust and your bottom line is already done.
When you act proactively, it's like building a digital fortress beforehand. You're building immediate trust, you're boosting your search visibility, and you essentially neutralize the impact of any future harmful content because your positive foundation is just so incredibly solid. It's basically an invaluable digital insurance policy that constantly secures new opportunities for you.
Look, at the end of the day, your online reputation is easily one of the most valuable assets you'll ever own in your career. Every single search result, every profile, every mention, it all adds up to how the world sees your expertise. So, to start strategizing, to take full control of your narrative, and to protect your future opportunities, I highly encourage you to check out the experts at clearmyname.org. They've got the comprehensive solutions to make this happen. I'm going to leave you with one final provocative thought today. If someone searched your name right now, literally at this exact second, would you confidently bet your entire career on what they find? If you hesitated even for a split second, it is time to take control of your digital first impression. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope you feel fully empowered to protect your digital.